What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Happy Saturday. I am standing in the beautiful sunshine in my driveway, working on the boat. I did fish yesterday with some friends of mine. We went up to Oswego and we trolled in the harbor. We fished all morning. It was gnarly. It was supposed to be west-northwest, and it turned out to be north-northeast. And it howled, and there were 3 and 4 foot swells rolling in the mouth of the harbor right there by the lighthouse. And we had it all to ourselves, though. The only problem I found was that everywhere in the harbor was 40 degrees, 40 point something. I never found any warm water. We had some action. We had one salmonoid. It was actually a small Atlantic salmon, about 14, 15 inches that we hit up in the river. We went up to Cahill's, turned and started trolling down. We were right by the Port Authority, and he just pinned a Michigan stinger on a 2-ounce drop weight right off the corner of the boat. Just, so we got him, and we had 4 or 5 other bites. They were all smallmouth, though. We landed 4 or 5 other ones. They were all bass in the corner where I think they're up in there getting ready to pre-spawn. So when the bass wouldn't leave us alone, we never did find a brown trout. We had 2 other big bites, one of which broke me off. I was talking to a buddy of mine, Nick Sokolowski, on the phone a minute ago, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm stripping reels. I took all 6 of my trolling reels and stripped all the braid I had just put on it. I had a big filler spool of Seagar, green Seagar. It was 15-pound braid. And yesterday I had a fish break off. Now, granted, the drag was a little tight. Normally it shouldn't break, but I had 2 break-offs at the braid in the Salmon River last week. So I said, I'm stripping it all, and I went to my Cortland Master braid, and I filled all my reels back up with it. So I'm a week late, but last Sunday was my birthday. Everybody that wished me a happy birthday, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And the reason I'm doing this video today is because yesterday Courtney and I had to go do some errands. I had to run out to see my great sponsors out at Krenzer Marine. They had a couple things for me. And because it was my birthday, my wife and kids lovingly gave me a couple gift cards. And so they were burning a hole in my pocket, and I was going to spend it online. Honestly, I always like buying stuff in person better, tackle-wise, for the most part. Unless it's something you know what it is and you're just rebuying it. But if I'm going to ever look for something new, I like to touch it. I like to feel it and touch it and see if it's exactly what I want. So we ended up taking a ride we were in Sodas Point in the morning out at Krenzer Marine. And then we went to Utica to the Bass Pro Shops. And so Courtney and I, on the way down there, I said, "All right, honey, I can't spend, a ton of money." I said, "I want to just spend the $105 I have in gift cards." And we came close. I went a little over, but I only went over like $20. And so you say, so what is a guy that fishes every day and for, not for a full living right now, but, what is he going by with somebody gives him $100? I'm going to show you. The first thing and the largest purchase from this was I've been looking for a little added rod storage for my boat. The rod locker in the middle, where all my casting rods are, spinning and casting, are under there. They can take up to an 8-foot rod, right about 8 foot in a couple of the holders, not in all of them. That's full with my rods in it. But say you're out on the boat, or if you're trolling, and I've got trolling rods all over the place, you pull that rod in, you got to kind of lay it down somewhere, and no matter where you lay it, it's always in the way. So I wanted something for, I'll take you and show you real quick. I wanted something that's going to go right here in front, standing up. So like, let's say that I am trolling, that rod comes out of the water, it can go right here in the holder, stand up and be out of the way. So that's what I was looking for. That's what I was going for. And I'll show you what I found. I was hoping for this in some sort of an aluminum version, but for 20 bucks a piece, it is what it is. I'm sure they'll be just fine. But I bought two of them. One for, they were $24.99 a piece for the. It was 20 for the 3-rod holder, and then let's go back. I'll show you one more time. So it's gonna go just like that. I mean, it fits perfectly right there, and that's just so I have. That's just so I have the ability to get things out of the way and not be laying around. And two, with the amount of money that rods and reels cost nowadays, I do my damnedest to take care of everything I have. I always have, but laying something down in the boat is asking for trouble. It's asking for trouble. Someone's going to step on it. Something's going to happen, especially in the heat of the moment. If you have multiple fish going, whether you're trolling, casting, doesn't matter. Because no different when guys get on my boat and we're going to go jig, a lot of people will bring multiple rods with them. This way they're standing up and out of the way. So that was half my birthday money right there, which I'm okay. That's going to be money well spent. So now I'll show you the rest of the stuff that I got. And, it's funny. A lot of people think, that's not really that exciting. But it's the spring. And right now there's so much fishing going on. But in some ways, this is kind of the lull before the storm. And so I did a little bit of restocking. First thing I did was, because I lost one of my favorite spoons yesterday on a break off that I talked about earlier, I wanted to go replace that spoon. They didn't have the stinger at Bass Pro that I wanted. They had quite a few, and it was a decent selection, but it's not like going to Fat Nancy's or All Season Sports in Pulaski. Those guys have everything. But the UV PK Special, a favorite of mine, and the Old Faithful Blue Dolphin. So those are the two best ones that I saw there. So I ended up getting two new spoons. They're 10 bucks a piece. So I'm at 70 already. And then I moved into, I needed some hooks, and the more trolling I do, again, and I'll be doing more and more trolling, because up until now with this new boat, I haven't trolled in years because my old boat wasn't set up to troll motor-wise. It wasn't going to work, and so I didn't do it. And trolling could be a lot of things. It's trolling on the Great Lakes or the Finger Lakes for trout and salmon. It's trolling for walleyes, whether you're pulling crankbaits or whether you're pulling worm harnesses. So I wanted to make sure that I set this boat up, and I'll get to that in a minute, for a complete trolling rig, because I started to remember these last couple times trolling how much I enjoy it, and I did it all of my life professionally, from the time I was 20 to 40. So so I started thinking I need hooks. You always need treble hooks. These are the bladed trebles that you guys saw that I started using last year. My friend Danny Diamond was the first time I saw anybody using a bladed treble. and he had it on the front of a blade bait that he was fishing last year when him and I fished together, and he smoked them. And I don't know if it was that, but he had it and I didn't. I can tell you that much. And so I bought a bunch of these and I restocked, and now I found the bigger size 2s, which I have some ideas for stuff for these, especially on trolling applications. So I bought 3 packages of them. They're another $8 a piece. So that's 25. So I'm at 50, 60, 70, another 25. That's 95 right there. Then I found these tournament trailers. I put those on every jerkbait. Not every. I put these on my jerkbaits. I like the rear trailer with the flash, with the feather. I also like that for a popper on top, a topwater popper. So I knew I was out, and boom. Also, too, we had luck when we were casting heavy spoons. I had one of these for trout this winter. I had one of these on the back of a Clio, and they loved it. And there again, those another, I think $5 or $6. So there's another 12. So we're at 70, 95. Yeah. So this was the limit right here. And I only spent a little on 2 more things, trebles. They only had gummies there for bulk trebles. One's the round bend and one is the EWG, both of which will have applications on my stick baits, on my spoons, for trolling. So, and I think these were 12 or 15 bucks a piece. So this was my over my limit. But not bad considering I have a real tackle problem, and my wife kind of, encouraged me to go spend it. So I was very good. Now, the next thing I want to show you is what else I did for the trolling application. And that is the new rod tree from Great Lakes Planers. I got a set of these, one for each side. They come with the spool on them for running a fixed planer board. And for my fixed planer boards, I went with the Big John Otter boats. In the old days growing up, it was Super Ski, made right here in Syracuse. Loved them. I fished with them all my career on Lake Ontario, when almost every charter boat I worked on. Later on, when these Big John Otter boats came out, they are even better than the triple Super Ski triples in the old days. They will ride on top of the waves just like a hull of a boat. They do far less pulling like this than the small inline boards do. I have my inline boards and I have individual rod holders, or I can still use these rod holders with inline boards on them. Yesterday was a perfect example. It was rough yesterday. I couldn't run my little mini planers at all. They wouldn't stay above water. And my other 2 bigger yellow planer boards on each side, even though I was double wrapping the front of it, I couldn't get it to hold at all. And multiple times we had to go back or stop because the planer submerged or came off or went down the line. And in perfectly calm water, they're great. I know some people love them. I'm not one of those people. I, born and raised, cut my teeth on, this is what I call a static planer. what you do is so it goes just like this. So it tracks alongside your boat on a static line, and then you put a release on this that hooks to your fishing line. So when the fish bites, that rod will go down and the release will release, and that rod will just have the fish on it, and the planer board stays out there. Like I say, that's traditionally the way most, if not every charter boat I've ever worked on runs planers. They also work great later in the season when people run copper or dipsy divers off them, because it acts like a solid thing that you're hooking it up to, no different than like a downrigger release. So that's what I did. That was my day yesterday. Today I'm getting everything all together because this wind won't stop blowing. And tomorrow, Easter Sunday morning, I think I'm going back to Oswego or somewhere up on the lake, depending on the wind direction. So stay tuned. Have a great weekend. Have a great Easter. Don't forget to join me Monday night fishing. We have more to talk about on Walleye Fest 24. Tons of exciting stuff going on. There is new things happening every day. This is extremely exciting, and we're about 5 weeks away, everybody. So let's get ready. Have a great day. I will see you all very soon. If not tomorrow morning, keep your tip up.